I'm going to go through a few slides describing our platform and the solution we bring to the table. And then I'll have James come and give you guys a demonstration as well at the end of the meeting here. So just a little bit about PTC. For those of you who don't know about us, we are a 30-year-old software company, public company in the enterprise software space, about 1.3 billion in revenues. And we've focused traditionally on all aspects of the product lifecycle. So designing a product, manufacturing the product, and then servicing the product. And really 3 years ago, we noticed a trend with all these products that our customers were building. They were all getting smarter and connected. That's really why we got into the IoT market. So you know all about OSI and the value they bring. You guys are all customers or partners. They're the market leaders in the data infrastructure. So we are complementary to that. So we are a leader in the app infrastructure for IoT. And we are both going after the same business outcomes like process efficiency and safety and energy use and so on. So it's really nice complementary joint solution, if you will. They focus on the data. We focus on helping you build those applications that leverage that data. And then we both sit on the same machines in a process industry or in the field. And those are the things that are connected to the IoT these days. And building these IoT solutions is not easy. If you look at sort of the classic IoT product, the Nest thermostat, a couple of the smartest Google engineers left the company to start the business. It still took them 2 years to build a little simple product. You have to take care of a lot of things like scalability and security and connectivity, performance, before you can think about solving your business problem, whether you're trying to manage tractors or turbines, your business logic, your interface, your applications. You need to take care of a lot of, infrastructure, if you will. That takes money, time, schedule, resources. So that's really what we focus on. So we are the platform for IoT. That's the green box. And our customers, our partners focus on the blue area so they can get their applications to market faster. So it's really about speed to market, build fast, fail fast, and build these IoT solutions quicker. So there's really 5 things we do. To begin with, we have a way to source the data. So many cases, we have edge technology, ThingWorx edge components that live on the devices or the machines. So that's the one way to get to the data. We also can live on IoT gateways that are close to the edge, if you will. But really what our partnership with OSI is all about is, OSI is already connected to, millions of sensors and tens of thousands of machines. They're already harvesting all the data into their PI system. And we wanted to extend that value of the data to the enterprise, bring that data into applications and analytics and so on. So that's really the focus of our relationship, is to build that bridge to OSI on the south side. You can see there on the edge, if you will. So we can bring data from both sources, from greenfield, new sensors and machines, as well as sort of brownfield equipment that's already been sensorized and connected. The next thing we do is contextualize. So while you can harvest all this operational data from the edge, you need the contextual information. Who's the customer? What's the maintenance history of the asset? What's the product history? Maybe even service and manufacturing history and so on. They're all sitting in business systems like SAP or Salesforce or whatnot. So we bring that data as well into the applications. That's the step 2, if you will. And the third thing is, now with the combined IT and the OT data, we can actually synthesize. We can analyze the data for predictive analytics or prescriptive, or you can do some simulation, what-if analysis, and get some business insights from that. And that takes us to step 4, which is where now you can orchestrate some action. Maybe you need to shut down a pump if it's in a runaway condition. You need to slow down a flow, or maybe send out an alert, open a service ticket in an IT system. So those are some of the actions you can take from a ThingWorx application. That's step 4. And then finally, that's all machine to machine, if you will. But if you need to engage with people, then once again with the platform, you can build these applications. So today you can very quickly build mobile and web applications that run on desktops and tablets and phones. But we'll also demonstrate today how you can build the next generation user interfaces using AR and VR as well with ThingWorx. So those are the 5 things we do as a platform. So this morning we announced a strategic relationship with OSIsoft, and we put out a press release on our roadmap. So we do have an integration with the PI system available today, so you can download it from our marketplace. You can run it for POCs and pilots. We have several customers using it today. But in the next 6 months to 9 months, we'll release a more strengthened version of the product where we can leverage not only the data in PI, but also the AF model. So we can read the AF model and build that initial Thing model inside of ThingWorx, and then add to the model with the other contextual data, the IT system data, the customer view, the financial view, maybe the manufacturing view, and so on, to the operational view that's coming from OSI PI. And then the rest of it's ThingWorx edge connectivity, so you can do both greenfield and brownfield connectivity, if you will. So that's what we announced today. So that's one. The other thing is, as I said, a core component of our integration is leveraging the model, not only the data, but the rich model that you already have built in your PI systems. So a core part of ThingWorx is that 360-degree view of the asset. Some people call it as the digital twin. It's the sort of the digital avatar of the physical asset. So you can construct that within ThingWorx, and that's a pretty rich, information about the asset. It's got the security model. We've got third-party extensions that partners bring to the table. Maybe it's an integration with some collaboration software, maybe integration with business systems. All of that is available in the model. So the IT and the OT world's coming together. That enables things like analytics, as I said. So first of all, to build the analytics model, we leverage all the historic data in PI. So PI's got a lot of operational data, but you still have to marry it with maybe some fault data sitting in some sort of a service database, like a Maximo or a homegrown solution. Combine that data together to build that analytical model that's done automatically with our platform. But once you have the model in place and you operationalize it, then you can take fresh data and score it against the model. Just like when you get a new car loan, they run through your credit check to see if how viable you are as a customer. The same thing. Every piece of data that you harvest, you can run it through the model, score that asset, and give you some sort of probability how likelihood that pump is going to fail, or the engine's going to fail, or whatever the model is built about. And you can use that for your business decisions. And then the other part of the platform is building these applications. This is the kind of environment you see a developer would use to build those apps. It's really built for the average developer. You don't need to be a high-end Java or a cloud application developer. It's built in a codeless environment. It's a drag and drop. You configure the model, and then you use it to generate the applications. So these are the kind of apps you can build with the platform. So this is an example of a partner in the Middle East who built a application in the food and beverage industry. They connected to a historian, a SCADA system, a couple of PLCs, and they're able to build this application in a couple of days. So rich dashboards and controls. The last part of the platform is the AR experience. We'll show a demonstration later today, and also you can come down to our booth to see a more in-depth presentation. But how you could bring all the operational data right and project it right onto the asset. So we'll do a demonstration on this toy truck here in a bit here. And all this is done without any coding. It's really meant for the practitioner to be able to build a solution. It's all about time to market. This is an example of a customer who it started with a marketing stakeholder who came to us. They make an engine control system, and they wanted to go to a trade show in China and showcase how their system is better performing than their competitors in terms of fuel economy and so on. So with a $30K budget and 30 days, we were able to build a minimal viable product that they could take to their market and launch that as a solution. So that brings me to the marketplace. So we've got a lot of the pieces in place to build an IoT solution, connectivity, analytics, applications, and so on, but we still need partners, like OSIsoft, maybe hardware like Cisco and AdLink and so on. So that's really where you can go to our marketplace to find those other components to put together a solution. And here's an example of that, where we worked with HPE and National Instruments. You can see some of the value adds they provided on the right here to put together a condition-based monitoring predictive maintenance solution around an industrial pump. Again, this is a solution you can see demonstrated at our booth at the expo floor. You can come down and check it out. So we got a whole rig out there. Sort of in closing, so that's about our solution. This is how we go to market. We're focused on, these are the 4 settings. Think of where the thing lives, not by vertical, but if the thing lives in a factory or in a city or in a outside environment or on a truck, it's in a logistics kind of application. Those are the areas we focus on. Not so much in the home and on a wearable or on a person. That's more consumer IoT. But those are the areas we focus on. And this is a concrete example of, again, a mining company. This is the kind of equipment they make. And they started off with using a platform for remote monitoring, remote diagnostics. But as they matured through the journey, now they're at a point where they can actually offer their product as a service. So in certain geographies, they don't sell the multi-million-dollar equipment. They offer, metric tons of earth remote. So that's a very big transformation force for their business. New source of revenue, keep the competition out, and then offer the product itself as a service. So with that, I'll let James come up here and give you guys a quick demonstration, and we'll take questions later.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Thanks, Manish. And so what I'd like to do with this demonstration is really just show you guys how really quick and easy it is to integrate between ThingWorx and OSI Pi. So is this? There we go. All right. So this first page here should look familiar. This is a pretty similar view to what you might see in the Pi System Explorer. The difference here is that we're actually showing this in a ThingWorx mashup that was built using that codeless mashup builder that Manish was talking about before. And essentially what we're seeing here is various different OSI Pi databases that we can go and query in real time into the ThingWorx system and display top-level elements from an asset framework model. And this communication is brokered using a standard ThingWorx agent that you can get on our marketplace. And essentially what that does is it lets you communicate bidirectionally between the OSI Pi and the ThingWorx platform. And it lets you go and expose services to go and query your asset framework model, go and get real-time data from your various assets, and then propagate that or query property history within the ThingWorx mashups. So what I'm seeing right here is a top-level element for a mining database that we're looking at with several different mining trucks here. And we can see here the various different element attributes that are available on these elements and the current property values and types and unit of measures here. Now, this page is really meant to be doing some sort of administration. So you might come in here, for example, to synchronize between your asset framework model and the thing model that Manish was referring to earlier. And so an administrator may come in here and query a OSI Pi database, and they can actually just press a button to create things from the top-level elements and add subscriptions to push those element attribute values in real time to the ThingWorx system. Now, these are, of course, all exposed as services, so you can automate this process to keep your OSI Pi and ThingWorx model in sync as you kind of add assets to either one. The next page that we're going to go into is more of an operational type view or a runtime type view that an end user might see. So as I click operation here, now what we're seeing is basically those the elements that we've created in the ThingWorx thing model displayed on a Google Map type view, so we can actually see our mine trucks as they drive around in real time. We can see their current values as I select over on the left-hand or the right-hand side here, and we can hover over to get some additional data and see that mine truck 3 is currently at a dumping status, going at a ground speed of 22 miles an hour and being driven by Sam Jackson. We can also go ahead and drill down into this information and get some more detailed view. This is kind of more of a SCADA type view here, where we can see, again, the current values of our truck in real time and see basically laid out over an image of the truck where those sensors might be on the actual truck. We can go in and query historical data on the various different properties. And one important point that I want to bring in here is that we're not replicating any data within ThingWorx. What we're doing is building these UIs sitting on top of the OSI Pi database, querying them in real time to figure out what those property values are. We can also do things like integrate with external systems. So for example, if you had a maintenance ticket and you wanted to open up a service ticket, you could go through here and open up a service ticket on an engine coolant temp that maybe was a little bit high and send that to an email address and confirm that maintenance ticket to be opened. So this is really great if you're someone who's sitting in front of a desktop computer and you're always able to pull up these types of dashboards and see into this real-time view. But for operators out in the field, they may not have that luxury, and they may want to have a different way of viewing this data. And so what I'm going to do here is pull up my tablet and connect to an augmented reality experience that an operator might be able to go and see. And as Manish was saying, we're going to be here on using the Tonka toy truck. We couldn't bring one of the real trucks in. It wouldn't fit in this room. But what we can do is pull up our ThingWorx View application, go and scan essentially what we call a thing mark, which is a unique identifier that can sit on an asset and uniquely identify this asset in particular, and scan that with our tablet, our HoloLens, or augmented reality glasses, pull up that experience and see in real time, a little bit slow, on the projector, not the, come on. There we go. And see our augmented reality experience showing the current values of this truck. We can also do cool things like, for example, if you wanted to be able to do remote maintenance on one of these trucks, we can play animations using CAD information that you might have. And so here I can play this animation, and this is a little bit of a silly one. It's just showing a dump truck animation. But the idea here is it could show you how to go and service an engine, remove a tire, or whatever other kind of remote maintenance you might need to do on one of these trucks. You could also go and open up a maintenance ticket right from here in a similar fashion to what we did on the web dashboard and communicate with that back-end system. I want to take a minute here to go back to really building these applications and what that might look like. And as Manish said, this is all a drag and drop environment. And so if we go to our design time of our ThingWorx Studio, we can actually see what it looks like to come in here and build one of these augmented reality applications. And what you can see essentially is I've got various different projects that I can open up and create these experiences. And if we go into our Truck 403 project, it's going to pull up this experience. Let me log in. Oops. There we go. Hopefully. There we go. And what we can do is we can add in data from our OSI PI system to go and pull in, for example, on our mine truck, maybe we can get our PI properties. Have access to all of those current selected values, and really all it is a matter of dragging and dropping to my various different elements of where I want this to go onto my screen, finding the specific property value that I want to go and bring in. Maybe I want to bring in my engine coolant temp, and dragging that over into the label that I want to display that value. From there, I can just go and publish this experience out. I can scan that unique code, and I can go in and experience that data in real time out in the field. And so with that, I'll end this demonstration and open it up for questions.
Thank you very much. So for question, just raise your hand and wait for the mic as we're recording the session. We want the sound, so anyone has question?
Hi, my name's Kayla Wilson. I work in a salt mine in Louisiana. And I just saw that demonstration where it simulated it dumping, and you said you could visualize it and then see how to like work on it or implement something. How difficult is it for you to simulate what you want to do? Say I want to show how I open the hood or something random like that. Is that something that's pretty user friendly?
Yeah, so I think that I can tell you actually we did this demonstration at a hackathon here at the OSI conference just yesterday, and that animation took my coworker Deanna about, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes to put together in Creo Illustrate. And you can do any kind of that type of animation. Now, it does require someone with a little bit of CAD knowledge to go and build those types of animations and bring them in. But once you got the animation built, it's pretty trivial to go and select it. I actually just have a selector on my 3D model that I can pick which animation I want to play. And then on a button trigger, for example, I bind it to that action and show that animation.
How do you go and get Pascal Morin from Goldcorp? How do you go and get the data from the truck? Do you sell the boxes, or do you integrate with the OEMs?
So in this case, we're not doing any of the data acquisition. The data acquisition is happening already for us from wherever the trucks are getting their data, the sensors on the trucks, feeding up into the OSI PI. I don't know if you have any other thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do I need to speak in the mic?
Yeah, actually I was about to say we do have partners that are on our marketplace that does that.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's two approaches, right? So if it's more of a greenfield opportunity when you need to sensorize a truck and so on, so yeah, we do have IoT gateways. We can run our ThingWorx edge technology and so on. In this demonstration, The story was that the data is already being harvested into Pi, so we're picking up the data where it is. But we can bring it in both cases.
Yeah, do you have the ability to connect to like a folder or say an SOP or a file that on storage somewhere that they'd be able to pull up?
Yeah, I think the ThingWorx tagline is that we can connect to anything and everything. So if you have data sitting somewhere on a file system, in a CSV file or something like that that you want to go and connect to, in any kind of database that you want to go and connect to, we have the ability to go and grab that data and bring that into the Thing model. And so you can have actually multiple different data sources that you're all marrying up within the ThingWorx system. That can include Pi data, flat file data, or all types of data.
Question?
I don't know. Just pull it off. Yeah.
So the service request ticket that you demonstrated there, is that tying into an existing work management system? So it might be out there in SAP or something like that? Or?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. So when we talked about how we can bring in other business systems and IT systems into ThingWorx, so that the flow of data can be both directions. So we can bring data in. We can also call their APIs to open tickets and so on. So one of our customers or partners, I should say, is ServiceMax. They do field service solution. That's exactly what they do.
Hi, my question is, how do you get data from Pi? Are you using Pi Web API or?
It's using the Pi AF SDK.
AF
in this
SDK.
case.
Okay, thank you.
That may change as we kind of solidify this over time and as we move forward with the partnership. But right now we're using the AF SDK.
Okay, thank you.
So do you want to take this, Manoj, or you want to?
Go ahead if you want to add. Yeah.
So we are working together, OSIsoft and PTC, to develop a product for integration, bidirectional data, asset model, Thing model synchronization, and we're aiming for June.
Yeah, the first release is in June, and we'll have a follow-up release in September. And you can check out the press release on ptc.com about some of the details. But we do have an integration available today, so if you're interested in doing a POC or a pilot. And also the ThingWorx platform is available as a free trial. So if you're not a customer of ThingWorx, you can just go to ThingWorx.com and download a copy, and you can get started immediately.
I think this 3D editor is really good. So does this support all the browsers, including the mobile browsers? It does?
Yeah. Yeah, what you saw is a universal app that we have on all platforms, Android, iOS, and Windows 10, and in the future, like wearables like HoloLens and so on. So it's similar to a web browser analogy. Instead of having a dedicated app for every connected thing, like it's already a challenge in your smart home today. You got a separate app for your lights, for your garage, and so on. So our idea is, can we have a single app that you can point to any connected asset, and it should be able to pull down the relevant experience. So that's what you're seeing here.
Any additional question? Yes.
So in the case where you may have identified an issue and communicated it out, shared this information, created a service request, does this platform also capture any feedback, in the whole loop that comes back from the field and things like that?
Yeah, you can capture data from that data source. You could either query it directly from that system, or you could have an API that you expose to go and take information back from that system.
And it's all tied together like an event.
Yep, correct. As a kind of work life cycle or workflow.
Yeah, it's a full-fledged app platform, so you can design a form that the field tech has to fill out, some notes after the job is done. The data is now captured and pushed into the relevant business system. So it's a blank canvas to build whatever application you want, and it's done very quickly in a drag-and-drop environment.
And there's a complete audit trail of all of those steps that are taking place.
That's right. Yeah, everything is captured in the system. So.
Last chance for question. Perfect. Okay, yeah, one more.
Hello. Is there any way to see the historical information through this augmented reality option?
Yeah, yeah, it is. I think he demonstrated one of the action was to pull up some historical data on one of the tags or properties, and you can project it on a web screen, or you can also do it on a augmented reality app.
Yeah, you have the same pop-up essentially as a button press that you could hit to pull up on the augmented reality experience your historical data.
Yeah, you can do the same thing. Yeah, and also I think there was a previous question. So you can reuse a lot of the existing service content if it's in PDF format, if it's YouTube videos. Any content can be played back on those apps.
And in the augmented reality experience, you have similar widgets like a time series chart that you might see that you could go, or bar charts that you could bring in and overlay essentially on the 2D space.
And you can also build your own widgets, so that's a very open platform. So you can do a lot without writing a single line of code, but if you wanted to extend the platform, that's an option too.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.